Thank you very much. Thank you. Welcome, conservatives. It's great to be here. I started off the day very early, got up at about 5 a.m., read my text messages, went back to bed, woke up at 6:30, made some calls, did some more texting, emails, and then around 9:15, I get a call from President Trump. And come on, President Trump. So the president said, "How's it going, Bruce? How's the campaign? We need you to do this." And I said, "Well, Mr. President, in 2 hours, I am going to speak to the conservatives of New York State who supported you 1,000% every time you ran. And Mr. President, I am honored and truly grateful that they will be nominating me in 2 weeks to be the next governor of the state of New York." Jerry, the president sends his regards. Mr. Chairman Jerry Kassar, thank you. Let's hear it for our chairman, Jerry Kassar. And where's my chairman, Danny Donovan? Danny, where are you? Danny, thank you. This guy and his father nominated me 8 times to run for office. His dad was a fighting Marine and a dear friend of mine. God rest his soul. Thank you, Danny. My neighbor, Mike Torres. Where's Mike? Mike, thank you for your leadership in Suffolk County. And I got to tell you, I got a great friend. I got a room full of friends, but I got a great friend in Erie County, Ralph Larigo. Where's Ralph? There he is. Thank you, Ralph. Thank you for all you do. And thank you to each and every one of you. I want to mention a couple of people who are here today, important people. Let's hear it for Joe Hernandez, who's running for state comptroller. Leader Will Barkley. Come on, let's hear it for Will. Leader Rob Ort. And this guy's traveling all around the state trying to elect Republican senators, and we're working together because I am not only going to win governor, we're going to pick up a lot of Republican Senate and Assembly seats. He's doing a great job. Senator George Barella, where are you, George? There he is. Thank you for all you're doing. And a great leader who is a leader when it comes to education and parental rights. Bobby Ann Cox has joined us here today. Thank you, Bobby Ann. And to all of you, thank you so much for attending this great conference. I've said it many, many times. The Conservative Party is the conscience of the Republican Party. The Conservative Party makes sure we stay on the right track. Get it? The right track? So, I've been traveling around the state for years. Did business in Erie County. I did business in Jamestown, Lackawanna, Cheektowaga, Rochester, Tonawanda, Syracuse, the Hudson Valley, the southern tier, Binghamton. I'm very familiar with this state, not only as a candidate, but as somebody who has worked with businesses to create economic prosperity. And my trips around the state when Governor Pataki was the governor of this state were a little different than they are now. When Governor Pataki was the governor of this state, people were generally happy, and they were happy with his leadership, and they were happy with the job that he did. They were happy that we had a Republican majority in the Senate. But now as I travel around the state running for governor, it's a different feeling. As I travel around the state, people are miserable with Kathy Hochul's leadership. People are miserable because we are the most overtaxed, overregulated state in the United States. In a little while, we'll be having a press conference. I'm going to have a press conference with Senator Borrello and Chairman Kassar. We're going to talk about energy. and the fact that we are the most expensive state in the whole United States. If you watch Kathy Hochul's State of the State message on her inaugural, actually it was her inaugural address, she talked about affordability as the capstone of what she wanted to do if she got reelected. And my response was, you've been in office for 4 years. What have you been doing to make this state more affordable? You, in fact, have made this state unaffordable to the extent that hundreds of thousands of people have left this state because this is a state that no longer has the economic possibilities that it did when it was the Empire State. And along with people leaving, businesses have left this state, taking valuable jobs. We need a governor who's going to cut taxes, cut regulations, be business friendly, create jobs, create prosperity. That's how you make it more affordable. It's not about a free bus ride. It's not about a handout. It's about creating economic prosperity in our state. People are hurting, and this governor has been tone deaf to what they've been saying. With all the costs and expenses, with the taxes and the regulation, we have driven out the future of New York State. They have gone to Texas and Florida and North Carolina and South Carolina. And you know what? You go down to those states, people are generally happy. They walk around with a smile on their face. They like the fact that their kids, when they graduate high school, will have either a good trade or go to a good university and get a good job when they graduate. But that's not the case here in New York State. We've got a governor of this state who doesn't care about you, doesn't care about our communities. This governor gave away over $5 billion the last 3 years to illegal migrants who've been here for 15 minutes. They haven't earned anything, and it's your taxpayer dollars. Money that could have been spent cutting taxes, money that could have been spent on infrastructure and creating jobs, money that could have been spent on our hospitals, money that could have been spent on our education of our children and grandchildren. She gave it away. That is a disgrace. People who came here illegally, have been here for 15 minutes, and we give them everything free. It's wrong. They should have to earn it, like immigrants have earned it throughout the history of this state and the history of this country. That's what it's about. The Old Testament and the New Testament talk about the virtues of work, not handouts. We need to make sure that we have a state where our kids can flourish, and a safe state. Let me tell you a little bit about myself for those of you who don't know me that well. I'm the son of Bob and Betty Blakeman. Both my parents were World War II veterans. I don't think there's many people in America that can say that. My father says my mother joined the Army because she didn't want to be left out of a good fight. But my parents taught me, my brother, and my 3 sisters American principles and values, Judeo-Christian work ethic, respect law and order. Unfortunately, the Democratic Party, not everyone in the Democratic Party, but unfortunately, Governor Hochul, Attorney General Letitia James, the Democrats in Albany, and the communists in New York City, they don't talk about American values. They don't talk about the things that our parents and our grandparents taught us. They do the opposite. America is always wrong. America is never right. We have problems in this country. We have problems in this state. But I can't think of a greater nation than the people here in the United States of America. Kind, generous, respectful. So I got into politics at a very early age. My father was a state assemblyman. I came up to Albany with him, and I decided that while I wanted to go into the private sector, I would always have an interest in public service, in helping others, in changing policy, in trying to make a better life for our community, just like my parents both served in World War II. It's called sacrifice for the future of your state. It's called sacrifice to make a better life for your children and your grandchildren. So I ran for office a number of times. Sometimes I was successful, sometimes not. But in the last 4 years, I've been county executive of a county larger than 8 to 10 states in population. Now, I say 8 to 10 because it depends on who's counting. If it's the Democrats counting, it's only 8 states. If it's the Republicans, it's 10 states. But we have 1.5 million people. We have a budget of $4.3 billion. And I made some pledges when I became county executive. I beat a very popular Democrat incumbent. And I kept my promises. Number one, the moms that came to me and said, you got to take the masks off our kids. There's a 0.0001% chance they'll get seriously ill. They're behind in their science. They're behind in math. They're behind in reading. They're behind in social skills. These moms came to me, and let me tell you, I learned one thing in politics. Listen to the moms. Don't get them angry. And when I got elected, the first thing I did was take the masks off the kids. It's up to the parents whether you want your kids to walk around with a mask. Not the state. You see, as we've seen, the Democrats say follow the science when it's convenient. But when it's inconvenient, they don't follow the science. We all know what that was about with the masks. It's about control. It was about controlling the lives of not only us, but our kids. So we got rid of the masks. The second thing I promised, and I fulfilled my promise the first week I was elected, Nassau County will not be a sanctuary county. We don't care what New York State says. Our county is not going to be a sanctuary county. And you know what? We weren't. And I hired 600 new law enforcement officers in just the last 3 years. 600 new ones. 400 police officers, 200 new court officers. And guess what? A county on the border of New York City, U.S. News and World Report said we were the safest county in America. I want to make this the safest state in America by supporting the men and women of law enforcement and backing the blue. They said you can't hire all of these cops and corrections officers and not raise taxes. I said, yes, you can if you manage the finances efficiently. So we hired the cops and corrections officers. I canceled a $150 million tax increase of my predecessor. And while inflation was raging at 6 to 8% per year, I never raised taxes 1 penny in my 4 years as county executive. And guess what? They said it would bankrupt the county. Just the opposite. We got 7 bond upgrades in 3 years from the rating agencies. Unprecedented. Never happened before. Those are conservative fiscal principles. that I adhered to as the chief executive of my county. And you know what? We went out to business and we said, we want to welcome you into our county. We want to work with you. We want to cut regulations. We want to make it easier for you to do business. And as a result, Nassau County went from a gross domestic product when I got into office of $84 billion. And last year, our gross domestic product was $124 billion. Now, I tell you all of this because we can do that in New York State. We can make us affordable again. We can make us prosperous again. And the way to make us more affordable is putting more money back in your pockets so you can make the choices on how you want to spend money, not government. And we can create that future for our kids in a safe state, in a state where our kids are going to want to stay. They're going to want to raise their families here. That should be all of our goals. So, recently I traveled around the state and there was a rumor going around that I didn't support the Second Amendment. That's very interesting, considering that I've been a gun owner for 30 years, considering that I belong to a gun club, considering the fact that I have guns mounted on my office because I wanted everybody to know I'm a Republican. And I was criticized for putting together a list primarily of military veterans and former law enforcement who had carry permits, who would step up to the plate in the case of an emergency and serve as a special deputy sheriff. They called it a militia. Kathy Hochul said I had a militia. I said, really? I said, you're denigrating people who served our country in the military and people who served our communities in law enforcement? I said, that's not a good look for a governor. But here's the point of all of this. With Zohran Mamdani in New York City talking about collectivism. Collectivism is communism. Kathy Hochul endorsed Zohran Mamdani. She said that he was a bright and shining star on the political frontier. That is shocking. We all know that socialism and communism have been a failure every place that they've ever had it as an economic system. Winston Churchill said, it's shared misery. Gets back to the beginning of my presentation to you. Misery. We want our residents to be happy. I want to be a governor that puts New York first. And when I become governor, we will not be a sanctuary state. We will not spend billions of dollars on people who haven't earned it. So, in conclusion, I want to leave you with a little story. So, as many elected officials know, Senator Borrello knows this, the other elected officials here know this. When the kids in the community win a championship, they come to their elected official with a trophy, they take a picture, they put it in the local newspaper. So 2 years ago, I had these 12-year-old girls from a soccer team. They were coming in to take a picture. They had just won a championship. And they said, Mr. Blakeman, we want to have a chat with you. I said, okay, what do you want to talk about? They said, we don't want boys on our teams. We don't want to have to compete against boys. That's unsafe and it's unfair. And we don't want boys in our locker rooms, in our bathrooms. Can you help us? And I said, yes, I can. So I sent a bill to our county legislature that said the following: boys play with boys and girls play with girls. It's just common sense. So I leave you with this thought. I know we have some young people here, but most of the people here are pretty far along in their career, as I am. My son says I'm on the last 3 holes. But I think about our young people each and every day. It's not really that I'm running for you guys or myself. I'm running for our kids and our grandkids and our grandchildren to come. We are at a tipping point. If we have 4 more years of Kathy Hochul in Albany with Zohran Mandami in New York City, people will be leaving this state in droves. Our kids will want to leave. We're going to have to go someplace if we want to visit our grandchildren. And they will destroy a truly, truly great state. We can be great again. We can be the Empire State again. But we have to put New Yorkers first. So each and every one of us have to get in the fight. Because it's about our kids and our grandkids and our great-grandkids. You fought for your kids to make a better life for them. Your parents fought for you to make a better life for you. Your grandparents fought to make a better life for you. It's time that we got in the fight to turn this state around, and by turning this state around, we will make for a more prosperous state. Our people will be happy, it will be affordable, it will be safe, and we will once again become the Empire State, and we will be respected around the world and not a punchline. So please, join with me in this effort. Join with me getting your community, your neighbors, your friends, your family motivated. We must win this election. It's not about me. It's about the future of our children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. So let's get working. Let's get it done. I know I can count on each and every one of you. You're all here today for the most noble of causes, to serve your community, to serve your state, and to serve your country. So may God bless you all, and may God bless America. Thank you.